8th of October is the day. It's a Tuesday in my country. I don't know what it is in your country, but it will be remembered very well that on this day is when United went ahead, obviously, sit in London to obviously make a decision on either to sack Erik Ten Hag or leave him on the job. Very many sources reported about this last Tuesday, and if at all I'm not mistaken, the first person to obviously report such a story was all about Laurie Whitwell. Last week, Laurie Whitwell was the first person to break the story, and it was like United is set to hold a meeting in London, and it was all about talking the future. And this meeting was confirmed that, or they confirmed us that this meeting always takes place at every, I think, second Tuesday of the month, and they obviously meet to see to it that they really give him the best of the best. And this meeting was expected to see to it that the man known as Erik Ten Hag is really going to be one of the topics to be discussed about, as according to the results of the previous two games that were given to him, that is FC Porto and the side of FC Porto and the side of it was FC Porto and the side of Aston Villa, in which went ahead obviously get a draw in both games, and we don't know what the fate is really going to be from the meeting. There is a portion of United fans saying that Ten Hag should be given a sack, and there are those that believe Erik Ten Hag shouldn't be given a sack. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun. And these videos are really, some of those are really attracting more and more attention from the viewers of Manchester United. Now, it was on the 4th of October when Laurie Whitwell and Adam Crafton, remember Laurie Whitwell is a United correspondent for The Athletic, came up and told us that the club's hierarchy is due to gather in London on Tuesday for a long-planned meeting. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir Dave O'Malberada, Dan Ashworth, Wilcox, Joe Glazer will be present, among others. It is unclear whether the team's performance will be on the agenda. Now, amidst all rumors making round on social media, it's not known whether the team's meeting, Erik Ten Hag's future is going to be on the agenda. That was way back on Tuesday, and obviously we were like, it has to be there, because you can't sit in such a meeting when all stakeholders are there and you don't talk about Manchester United, because that's the brand they're pushing and that's how they're really doing their stuff. So after that performance on Sunday, we obviously have very many stories making rounds from these people, and the Times Sport came out and told us that Erik Ten Hag's position at Manchester United, Erik Ten Hag's position as Manchester United manager is still up for discussion at a meeting between the club hierarchy tomorrow, that is today, and they're like, it's really gonna be the talking point. Huge talk is really gonna be taking place that side about Erik Ten Hag and his job that he's doing at the club of Manchester United. And very many more stories have gone ahead, obviously build a lot of capacity onto that. And even Disco Mirror, who is a Manchester United correspondent for the Daily Mirror and the Daily Mail and the Mirror Football, has come out and told us that Erik Ten Hag's fate will be decided on Tuesday when Manchester United's hierarchy meet for crunch talks, with Thomas Tuchel the new favorite to succeed him. So it's like it's going to be one of the things to be discussed, and this is a correspondent for the club of Manchester United, and they're like, Erik Ten Hag's fate will be decided on Tuesday. That's what you're really getting in through from every corner of the correspondence of Manchester, meaning that they're being briefed by the club, and we're waiting to see whether it's really going to go that other way. Then Jamie Jackson, he's a United correspondent for the Guardian and Observer. He also does that Erik Ten Hag's future at United will be decided at an executive summit today. Ruud van Nistelrooy is favoured as a caretaker replacement should a change be made. So that's what you're really getting in through from all these people telling us that a meeting is going to be held today in London to see whether Erik Ten Hag is really going to be the guy to stay at the job of Manchester, or at the helm of Manchester United. I very much know that first and foremost, there is what we call making news. But there are stories that I'm really getting that I feel like they're being sat up there and they're like, let's obviously go ahead and really do that. Amongst all the journalists and the correspondents of these media houses, I don't really see their credibility. Laurie Whitwell is the one who went ahead of put out well that it is in question whether the performance of the club is going to be talked about. You get? And he hasn't gone ahead obviously come out and really issued anything different from what he issued last week. You get? Because he's the man who broke the story that Manchester United hierarchy is really going to be meeting today in London. And today, they went ahead obviously hold a meeting at Old Trafford. And I think it was all about the new Old Trafford Stadium. The moment I saw Gary Neville there, you know, Avram Glazer, Sir Alex Ferguson, and very many others, I was like, that's all about the stadium. That's all about the stadium. And for Gary Neville, he came out and really briefed us about Erik Ten Hag, and he said that it's not around the club, they don't want to sack Erik Ten Hag. You get? That's what we went ahead to get, and let me see whether I can even find that tweet. You get? And really show you exactly what Gary Neville went ahead obviously say even after that game of Aston Villa, that the feeling of the club is that they don't want to sack they don't want obviously sack the manager. And I tell you what, all will be doing well. And he said, what did he say? Let me try. Right. Gary Neville. So I'm trying to obviously get this tweet onto the screen to see to it that also you guys go ahead and really watch it, you know, because it's really very important for you to know what is really taking place at the club of Manchester United. And Gary Neville is really having a very strong position in making such statements. Why? Being on the board that is really gonna build a new Manchester United, you understand? That means he has all what it takes to obviously talk to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Sir Dave Bresfold, and everyone that are really running the club. And he's like, all right, I'm really telling you, they are not gonna sack this guy. You understand? So that's what Gary Neville is really telling us, but that's what he's really telling us. And we all know to it that there are different figures at Manchester United. Some want him to stay, and maybe some are like, they are not really doing the needful, and maybe they are supposed to obviously sack him. Now, they're going to really come up with what we call a hot discussion. If it happens to be one of the topics they're really going to be talking about the man, Erik Ten Hag. And we will be here letting you know what exactly has gone ahead obviously come from that side of Manchester United, as we all know to it that it's not going to be an easy decision. And Gary Neville had the following to say about Erik Ten Hag's future, and I've given you the background as to why I can listen to words of Gary Neville than any other journalist, because he's close to Dave Bresfold, he's close to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and he has been with them in the meeting yesterday at Old Trafford, meaning that when he speaks, he's speaking from a well-informed view of all this. So, if they tell you that, if a crocodile comes out and tells you what is underneath the water or the rock bottom of the sea, do you obviously come up and obviously say no? Right? You say yes, because it's the crocodile that goes ahead to go to the rock bottom of the sea. You understand? Now, Gary Neville said on Erik Ten Hag, I think we should stick with Erik Ten Hag. I would say one more season would be worthy to see if we can get back to the standards of where when the talking and finished. right? This is something different. This is something different. And there is something that Gary Neville went ahead to say recently. I don't know where it is. Gary Neville. Gary Neville said something very, very huge, right? And all right. I'm really failing to trace it. But Gary Neville, you have something to say. Ten Hag. They were at Old Trafford today. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I've gone ahead, obviously, let you know about that. And so he has also gone ahead to say that the draw has gone ahead, obviously, by Erik Ten Hag sometime. He was on the Monday Night Football, and when he speaks that, when he was with the Glazers, it shows you that it's something really that has gone ahead, obviously, surface, that he's really having some time to obviously keep himself running at the club of Manchester United. So we are waiting to see what is going to be coming from that meeting, but all in all, a lot is really being said. And obviously, even Rob Dawson has come out and obviously had something to say about Erik Ten Hag. And he said, Erik Ten Hag's future remains in balance ahead of the scheduled executive meeting this week, although Ten Hag believes he retains the faith of club bosses heading into the international break. So, Ten Hag believes that he really has the faith of the people at Manchester United. And I think, for me, at a larger extent, he's not going to get sacked. For me, that's what I really believe. But 80%, I'm like, they're not going to sack him. 20%, I tell you they can sack him, depending on what they come up with. But why do I say 80% they cannot sack him? Because of the results he got away at FC Porto and at Aston Villa. And now, I've always told people that, look, what games have gone ahead to see managers at Manchester United sacked. You get, I think, for Jose Mourinho, it was when he lost to Everton. Louis van Gaal, you remember, when we played that game, even after we won the FA Cup, I think we were playing West Ham, and if United had beaten West Ham, United would have gone ahead to go in the Champions League. You remember that very well. Then, and I think that game ended, was it 3-3 or they even beat us by 3-2, if I'm not mistaken. Then, he got sacked. Then, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was sacked after losing to Leicester City and Watford. So, it's not those big games that really get you sacked. FC Porto is a very big game, and even Aston Villa is one of the big giants that have gone to emerge into this era. And when you get a point there, it's really a very huge plus. That's why you saw the likes of even Jamie Carragher, the critics, or the number one critics of Erik Ten Hag, say that if you get a point at the Villa, it's really something great. You get, because Villa is now trying to walk the journey of becoming a juggernaut into the Premier League, because very many teams have gone here to go that side and they've failed to obviously get even a point, So, I think Ten Hag still has some more time. And to cement all this, to cement all these rumors that he's going to be sacked from the club of Manchester United, Ten Hag needs to do the following. Beat Brentford when we return from the international break. Beat Fenerbahce away. Remember, we are having 6 games left into the UEFA Europa League. We need to win like 4 or 5 of those games to obviously go into the top 8, because you wouldn't like to have a playoff, to add in more 2 games on the hectic fixtures they're really having this season. And then thirdly, beat West Ham. If Ten Hag can collect, I think, 6 out of his next 2 games in the Premier League, of which I think he can, and collect 3 points from Fenerbahce, I tell you, it's going to give him a lot of relief, because after playing West Ham the other week, he'll be hosting Leicester City at Old Trafford. You get, in the Carabao Cup. Now, if he beats Leicester City and goes to the next round, which is going to be a semi-final, I tell you, he will be really willing, he will be really moving into the right direction. When you look at the Carabao Cup, by the way, I think him knocking out Leicester City will buy him more time at the club of Manchester United. When you look at the Carabao Cup and what we have in here, Southampton. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Meaning that these are 8 games that are really going to be played. If United beats Leicester City, right, we'll be playing to the quarterfinal. You get? That's why I had obviously come and count. I was saying the semi-final, sorry, but it's supposed to be the quarterfinal. Now, if it's supposed to be the quarterfinal, right, what Manchester United is supposed to do is go ahead and beat Leicester City, and you never know which team we're going to really face, because when you look at these teams, Arsenal will go through. I see Chelsea knocking out Newcastle. I see Tottenham Hotspur knocking out Man City. I tell you this. I see Aston Villa knocking out Crystal Palace. So whoever comes in the quarterfinal, I think Erik Ten Hag would have gone ahead to get enough time to obviously bond or really blend his team and really getting these other players into the team. I've already told you that Erik Ten Hag needs 10 games, and after 10 games, if he doesn't really see Ugarte in the team and other players in the team, then I'll be like, something's wrong with Erik Ten Hag. So guys, your thoughts on Ten Hag sacking meeting today in London are welcome in the comment section below. Rock and David remains my name. What do you think about all the stories that have gone ahead obviously put out by the correspondents of Manchester United? We out.